Hi Deb, thanks very much for agreeing to have a chat with me today.
Okay, just gonna grab myself a glass of water and get out the kitchen where all the music's going on.
Yeah, sure, yeah, it's a busy house here too at the moment.
Right, there we go. So,
Lovely. I just wanted to have a quick chat with you before. What I'd like to get from it is to know more about you and what you do.
yeah,
I've looked on your social media and I love the idea of taking the journey from employment to doing it yourself.
yeah,
It's something that I did around 2012. I decided that employment was just it was just the end of it for me, and I needed to do something. So I embarked upon my journey. So I wanted to sort of talk to you about what you do, who benefits from what you do, how it works, and sort of where you see it going.
okay.
Maybe how you started as well.
How did I start? Well, I think when the kind of work I do is I help people with their mindsets, and that's why I call myself a journey to freedom therapist. So people who are stuck in a state of overwhelm or overthinking or procrastinating, and they find it very difficult to step forward. And in fact, that was me. I was actually stuck in a marriage where there wasn't really much love there. But I was too scared to leave, even though we tried everything else. So I chanced upon a coach, and I have to say, in 2010, I didn't really know what a coach was.
Right. Yeah.
But I found a coach, and she offered to help me, and that was really a big turning point for me, because it was about taking responsibility for my life.
Yeah.
And realizing actually that you can take responsibility, and you can turn your thoughts around and change your mindset from thinking you can't do something to you can do something, and creating your own life. So I literally went on a massive journey of self-development, and I was coached for 3 months, and during those 3 months things really changed for me.
Yeah.
I decided that I wanted to leave my marriage, and I wanted to train as a coach. So I more or less did those two things within 6 months. So that was how powerful that initial coaching session was. I started to believe in myself. I took myself off to London. I retrained as a coach. I left my marriage. And then a few months later, I was made redundant.
Oh, right, yeah.
Another hurdle in my path, which I had to circumnavigate.
Yeah, it's so common as well. That's a real kicker as well, I think, for a lot of people.
Oh, it is, yeah. And I think, what happens now? Because it's just me having to fend for myself. But at that point, I didn't become self-employed. I thought it'd be something I'd do eventually. But anyone who's been through divorce will know that it's quite a traumatic event in anyone's life. So I did carry on working, but I coached a bit on the side.
Yeah.
And then I got to 2015, and divorce had gone through, and I thought, this is the time for me. I was feeling that, just like you, work was not for me. It wasn't going to provide the kind of purpose and fulfillment I was looking for.
Yeah.
On that journey of finding out who I was, by training to become a coach, I did lots of different self-development courses. I found that I kind of found my own value, which was in making a difference in people's lives. I'd had lots of different jobs, and I've been in a design. I trained as a fashion designer originally.
Yeah.
And then became a graphic designer at the age of 40.
Right,
and thought really that I was always going to do something in design, because what parents tell you becomes a sort of belief. You believe that's what you're going to do, and everyone said I was like my mum, and my mum's a designer.
Yeah,
but in my 40s,
you can be molded very quickly in those ways.
Well, you believe it, and they're your role models, and we kind of look to them for guidance, really.
Yeah.
And I realised in my 40s that I'd come to a bit of dead end. This is before I left my marriage, and I was doing graphic design, but actually not enjoying it. And I was doing some NLP on the side, doing a diploma, and a chance conversation with the lady that ran it. We started to talk about values, and she did she used to do blue chip profiling for companies,
Yeah.
and I asked if she would do it for me, because I said I've come to a bit of a dead end. I've been doing graphic design for about 5 years, and I don't think I enjoy it anymore because I just feel chained to my Apple Mac,
Yeah.
and I don't know what else to do. But this is not really doing it for me. And that's when I discovered that actually one of my key values is making a difference, and being a graphic designer doesn't really allow you to fulfill that part of me.
Yeah.
And I realised that some of the other things I'd done, which was lecturing in art and design and graphics, and enjoying helping students that really struggled, the ones with ADHD or Asperger's or emotional problems at home.
Yeah.
That's when I really, really felt I could offer some real value and really be myself. And I was very much kind of nurturing person and liked helping those that struggled.
Yeah.
I never realised that kind of empathic part of me was a big part of me. And once I realised that that was kind of the missing bit in my life, that I needed to find something that would allow me to express that, it was great. It was so empowering. So I went from graphic design to mentoring foster children within 4 or 5 months, and everyone thought I was bananas, all my friends.
Yeah, that's so common as well, that, while you're breaking out of one paradigm, a lot of people, especially the people closest to you who care about you, will try and stop you.
They don't understand it. But actually, that job that I got, and I didn't have any of the qualifications to do it. I think that in those days it was a newspaper ad. You needed to have a social care background.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that, but all the personal qualities they listed, being empathic, non-judgmental, good listening skills, communication skills, people person, it was all me. So I decided to apply for it, which is what my NLP trainer had said. If you see something kind of matches your transferable skills, then just go for it. So I did, and
that's great advice.
When I applied and I had a team of people interviewing me, I just thought, wow, everything that they talked about was really what I wanted to do, was helping younger people gain confidence and achieve the best they can in schools, because foster children, unfortunately, get moved from pillar to post. If they have problems, then foster parents move them on.
Yeah.
And it really kind of called to my heart. So when I started that job, I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. I thought, this is amazing opportunity.
Yeah, actually getting enjoyment and real change.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a job. It felt like this was just me being me, really.
Yeah.
So really, from that point on, I knew that in order to feel fulfilled, whatever role I did, whether it was working or, eventually to become self-employed, I needed to be doing something where I was making a difference in people's lives. Yeah. So that's how I ended up basically becoming a coach. Coaches of different guises. When I first started out, I was an intuitive coach because my background's very spiritual. I used to sit in spiritual circles and read tarot cards.
Oh, yeah.
My first forays into online business was doing online readings for people in Australia and New Zealand.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
I know. I found a coach in Australia who trained people to run the tarot business online, and so I went for that.
Yeah.
And found myself doing readings with people all over the world. I enjoyed that, but found the nature of it was people just wanted me to give them answers rather than taking responsibility themselves.
That's a quick fix in a way. Yeah.
A quick fix, yeah. So I then moved into business coaching, thinking that was the way I was going to earn more money. Again, a little bit misguided from me, but I think, we all get seduced by what we see on social media.
Yeah.
And that didn't really fit for me. I did it for a while, but I found that most people that kind of gravitated to me, they'd got problems going on in their lives. It was sort of personal problems that were affecting their business.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than looking for pure strategy.
Right.
Actually, the pure strategy side of it didn't really float my boat, because that's about process rather than about helping people with their emotional problems.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
then I found myself migrating into life coaching, and then I retrained in timeline therapy because I found that a lot of my clients had got problems with old beliefs that they were stuck with, and those are always developed in childhood.
Right. Yeah.
That timeline therapy was a really neat tool for helping people resolve all of those beliefs that are created unwittingly by parents or teachers in the past. And so, yeah, that's what's kind of brought me to where I am today. So I use timeline therapy and EFT, which is an energy releasing tool.
Right. Yeah.
To help clients improve their mindset, improve the quality of their lives by changing their beliefs, changing their thoughts and actions, so they can improve the quality of their lives or improve the impact they have in their own business.
Yeah.
So I deal with all kinds of people, whether they're in business or they're not in business, because mindset issues are kind of everywhere. You know, it's kind of, there are lots and lots of people out there that are not feeling fulfilled, not living a life of purpose because they're stuck, entrenched with these old beliefs that they're not enough, or they have to please everybody, or they're comparing themselves to everybody else. And that's just old beliefs, it's old programming that you can change and change the quality of your life.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I've rattled away for ages there.
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, anybody listening to this will definitely resonate with it. I mean, there's so many things that I've agreed with you on as you've said it. I mean, just looking on your LinkedIn page, you're talking about negative mind chatter, not being able to think clearly. I definitely had the same thing. When I guess embarked on my journey, it was in 2012, and it was around Christmas. And I was looking forward to the Christmas holiday. The Christmas holiday came and went, and I was back at work, and I just thought, wow, that went by so quickly, and I didn't get the mind rest that I wanted. I looked around the office, and I literally I sort of pushed my seat back, and I just thought, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know these people. You know, these people were fine. I'd been working with them. They were very nice. I just knew that it was time for me to leave. I went upon my journey. But I think, you know, the negative thoughts are what hold people back. I mean, I thought about starting my business. I told my parents. Very quickly, my mum was very worried and concerned that, you know, at the time I was in Australia, we'd gone out there and we'd started a business out there. We wanted to come back. And I said, like, I don't want to work 9 to 5. And, you know, they were like, but you know, most people do have to. It's just, you know, it's like a fact of life. So fighting that and, you know, maintaining my desire and having faith in my, you know, the outcome, you know, is something I think a lot of people resonate with, whether they're, you know, whether in employment now, or like you said about people who are in business, have their own business, but maybe have just sort of fallen by the wayside and, you know, found some resistance and not getting the results they wanted to get.
Yeah, it's a real journey, and it's all around mindset. People think that thoughts are real, but they're not. It's just a lot of those thoughts and those beliefs are from the past, and it's about retraining how you think, so that you believe in yourself and you can make things happen. And I think sometimes we just have these light bulb moments, like you say, when you find yourself at work and you think, you know, you reach that tipping point, you know, is this what I want? This just doesn't feel like it's got any value to me anymore. There's got to be more to life than this.
Definitely.
And I've reached that point more than once, you know, both in my marriage and in work. And when you change your mindset, you believe so many things are possible that weren't possible before. And I see that transformation in clients, you know, when they start committing to their own personal development, they can go from not believing in themselves to setting a business, or sometimes they're running a business, but it doesn't fit in with their values anymore.
Yeah.
And they can change it. I've had clients who, I think one client was running a business, and she came to me initially because she wasn't earning enough and she wanted to find ways and means to work harder. But when we looked at her values and looked at the business model was about making money. It was a network marketing company.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine if you're motivated by money, but actually she wasn't. She was a bit like me. She wanted to make a difference in people's lives and realised that actually, when she realised this didn't fit in with her values, it was like a light bulb moment, and decided what she'd always wanted to do was be a garden designer. So she switched from network marketing to training to be a garden designer, and it was like a massive weight had shifted off her shoulders when she realised, she has the power to choose. You don't have to stick with the same. You can actually get off the treadmill and do something completely different.
Yeah, exactly. Around that point, like you said about taking responsibility, I started taking responsibility. I started to look at things where I blamed people for things in the past, maybe a friend or a parent or somebody I'd fallen out with or not agreed with. And I started taking responsibility for that anyway. Even if I still felt like I was blaming them, I took responsibility for how I reacted to it. And I felt that when I started taking responsibility, even for things which weren't necessarily my fault, I actually gained control of the situation. And I said, I can move forward now in this direction, I guess letting go of it, letting go of those negative beliefs. At the time, I was listening to a few podcasts, which were very motivational, and I'd be sitting at work, and I actually would put my headphones in and just drift away and listen to a podcast, and it felt like they were the people speaking to me. They were telling me the positive things I needed to hear. I think that's sort of why I distanced myself from my colleagues at the time and actually went on this journey. So my hope is that people will be able to listen to you and hear the things that you're saying, understand that it's something similar that they have, and be inspired to take action. The podcast is basically about Worcester businesses. I want to talk to as many businesses in Worcester, just to sort of see their journey, what they provide, and sort of get some advice for other business owners, because I think a lot of business owners or people thinking about starting a business don't know where to go. They're stuck with, as you say, an old mindset, and especially with 2020 coming round, it feels like it's a real opportunity sort of to start something new.
Absolutely, the start of a new year is the opportunity to start something new. And so if someone's been stuck in a job and it doesn't feel like it's fulfilling them anymore, now's the time to take action and realise, that dream that they might have harboured for quite a while, but feel, they haven't had the confidence to do it. It's quite often people just need that extra little bit of help to believe in themselves and to believe in their own abilities, and to make that leap from being employed to being self-employed, so they're in charge of their own destiny.
Yeah, definitely. That really excites me.
That's so freeing.
Yes, it is. And being inspired by money. I think a lot of people start out inspired by money, and that's where they get the ball starts rolling, and at some point you do question that, and it's there's so many sort of twists and turns that people have. Do you have people coming back to you, or is it a situation where you'll have a conversation, maybe some therapy, and then they just go off, or do they come back and speak to you? Do they?
Yes, some come back because life does have twists and turns, and maybe their circumstances change, so clients may come back and decide that they need to do some more work as well. So it's not necessarily a one-stop shop. Sometimes we work for 3 months, and then we might go on to what we call a maintenance plan, where I see them perhaps once a month for 6 months, just to touch base with them, and to see how things have developed in terms of their work or their business, and what other help they might need. But I don't see it as finite, because life is constantly evolving and changing.
It's very hard to keep because one day you can be winning and next day you're not. So it's very, it's hard to keep, to keep it all together, isn't it? I think.
Well, some of the mindset tools that I show are really, they're very useful and quite dynamic that clients can use every day, so that once they've stopped working with me, they can continue to use that, because I think a lot of people's default setting can be kind of quite negative or come from a place of fear, because that's our primitive part of our brain. We're always alert for any kind of change or anything that we feel might be threatening us. It's like that saber-toothed tiger business when we were in caves. So
it's very real.
Having those mindset tools helps people stay in charge and feeling empowered, and they can cope with all those kind of curveballs that might come our way. To say, because life doesn't stay the same. We can guarantee that it's always changing.
Yeah, it's the only thing that is constant.
Yeah, but it's about changing your mindset, and that's totally possible. I've seen it with clients, and I've done it for myself.
Yeah, so you provide a framework for them whereby you give them the tools, and obviously it's bespoke to them, and they have to,
Yes. When we start off in the first session, we have what's called a deep dive session. So I find out exactly what the issues are, what the challenges are, how long it's been going on, where does it originate from, and then I use timeline therapy to help them go back to their childhood to change those beliefs.
Yeah.
And then we use EFT, which is emotional freedom tapping technique, to help them imprint and reprogram their mind.
Wow.
So each client has their own personal script, and then we tweak and change it as they develop and change and grow stronger. And sometimes then we find there's other memories that we have to go back into. People in their 40s and 50s, they've acquired that's kind of typical age range, or not necessarily that age range. I've worked with younger people who come to me because as we get older, energetically, it becomes harder to keep these old beliefs, limiting beliefs, under wraps. They start to erupt and they get triggered by various situations. We call it being triggered. And so my work is like a detective, really, is to find out where these beliefs came from, so that people don't get triggered by them, or don't get triggered so much they feel more in control.
Yeah.
So we work together for 6 weeks or 3 months. Sometimes it's longer. Each client is unique. It's very client-centered. Some people will work faster than others. Others, it just takes them a bit longer, but it doesn't really matter. It's their own journey. That's the most important thing. And I'm always there at the end of, Facebook Messenger to support them, or WhatsApp. So they've always got me as a constant support on that journey.
Yeah. Wow. So much brilliant information there. And
it's mostly, and I have to say, sorry to butt in, it's
go
mostly
ahead.
Women that I work with. And I don't know why men, perhaps, I have worked with men, but far fewer men than women.
Yeah,
but
I was going to ask you about
I've started to become a little bit more open about, I guess, allowing themselves to be a bit vulnerable, because it is about exposing that part of yourself that makes you feel vulnerable.
Yes.
But I think men are beginning to realise that actually it can work, and that it's okay to talk about, things that are troubling you, issues that you're challenged by. It's okay to do that. So I create a safe space for them. So I see some clients at home, but I have got clients that don't live anywhere around here, so we have virtual conversations. So that means, I've had clients in America and Australia. It doesn't really matter, as long as the time zone's fairly user-friendly.
Yes, definitely. I have clients in Australia. We'll be speaking to people in Australia at maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm from a social media, online search engine optimization background, so it's interesting to find that your website is debmacmillan.co.uk. People can find you there. but you're using a lot of technology to be able to speak to people. Something that maybe back in the day would be a local thing. You can obviously reach anybody at any time now. Where do you get the lion's share of your clients? Do they come through the website? Do they find you in somewhere local in Worcester?
I think social media. I'm pretty high profile on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I get some clients through Facebook, I get some through networking, and I get some through my website.
Yeah.
And some by referral. It's really a real mix of all of those avenues, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's ideal, really. We've been very much search engine optimization based, so people would search for us, and we made sure that we had lots of websites with lots of content answering their questions, and people would come that way. It's only in the last maybe five years that we've really worked on social media, and I definitely think that there's there's so much opportunity out there in social media. Is there anything that sort of you're looking to the future with? Any particular direction that you think either coaching's going, or the way that you would the way you find people's going? Is there any changes or trends, do you think, over the last couple of years?
I'm working a lot more with networking locally, and that's only because that's what I like doing.
Yeah.
I think through my years of being self-employed, I've discovered it's much better to follow the path that you enjoy doing. Oh, that sounds so stupid and so simple.
A lot of these things are, though, aren't they?
But the more I'm offline, the more I prefer it, really.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a hate-love relationship with Facebook. It has been good to me, but I limit my time on it because you can feel you've been sucked down a black hole.
Yes.
With networking, I think for real is much more a bit of a wake-up call, and it's more dynamic, and it's easier. We are basically animals, and when we meet someone, we have that instant attraction or connection, a sense of trust, like.
Yeah.
Happens a lot more quickly than you do if you're online.
Yeah.
And I think with the kind of work I do, people have to feel they can trust me.
Yes.
So that process can happen a lot more quickly, and I like networking. So I'm starting to do more of that. I'm doing some spiritual development training, something new for 2020, because the kind of work I do kind of does open up a spiritual path for me and potentially for clients to develop their intuitive side more, so they can fulfill their own needs by being more in touch with themselves. So that's another aspect I'm going to be training in that will benefit my clients.
Yeah.
So those two things, it's more networking and spiritual development. And I like to keep things really simple. That's the way that I'm going. I tend to work with small amounts of one-to-one clients on a deep level.
Yeah.
Because I like the space around my business. I kind of do this more part-time now these days, because I'm of an age where time is really valuable.
Yeah.
So that's where I am in my business.
Well, I mean, thank you so much. I'm going to digest this. I might have to listen to it again. I think there's so much out there in what you've said there that's just more than I could expect, to be honest. I started this podcast. You're the first guest I've had.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the start of the journey. So, as I said before, I'll send it to you for approval before we go ahead. I may even sort of collect a few interviews and then put it out. So what I'd like to now do is just sort of maybe talk about where people can find you. I will probably listen to this, and then I'll have hundreds of questions. And I should have said this, should have said that.
I think we've covered most. I mean, I do tend to talk quite a lot, but I think I've covered all the main points. It's the problems that clients have, and where the journey and the outcomes. I think I've covered all of that. People are just trapped in that cycle of overthinking, overwhelm, procrastinating, and I have had some clients suffer from depression as well.
Yeah.
And they've, by their own volition have come off antidepressants, but I'm not a medic.
No.
And I would never suggest that they do. But as part of the process, when they find themselves, find the best version of themselves, then they're able to not rely on things like antidepressants.
Yeah.
I had clients who have used alcohol as well, but anyway, I'm certainly not a medic. But yeah, so I take them on that journey, and that's why I call it Journey to Freedom, because it is about finding your own version of freedom, and that's what everybody wants, really, the mental freedom. So they get to choose the kind of life that they want without feeling hampered by old programming where they feel they should do this or they should do that. There are no shoulds. It's, what do you really want? And not many people sit down and have that very simple dialogue with themselves. What do I really want? They find themselves stuck on a path like I did. When I was graphic designer, I was on my way to do a presentation. Actually, the universe stepped in and I busted a tyre on my car.
Oh, right.
I didn't really want to go to the presentation.
Yeah.
I was particularly a great website designer, and I was stuck in the middle of the countryside, and my partner was in the car in front, and she said, "What are you going to do now?" I said, "Well, I don't know. I'll phone my husband," because I was married then.
Yeah.
But I was so relieved I didn't have to go to this presentation. And so my partner went on, and then I was stuck in the middle of the road waiting for someone our husband couldn't come out. And this woman drove past me, came back. She said, "You look like you're in a spot of bother." I said, "Yeah, my tyre's busted." And she said, "I happen to own my own tyre company." So so I stepped into her car. She called one of her guys, fixed my car, and we had a conversation, just staring out into the fields. And I just realised in that moment, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do graphic design. And yeah, the rest is history, really. I just stepped off that treadmill because it just wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
And changed my career. So yeah, if that resonates with anybody, feel like they're just not enjoying what they're doing anymore, just feels like daily grind, then maybe it's time to have a bit of a self-assessment and see what your values are, what your hopes and desires are, what's holding you in the way, and creating something new for 2020. And
Definitely.
It doesn't matter how old you are, because I was 54 when I'm 62 now. I was 54 when I left my marriage and set up my business properly 3 years later.
Yeah. It's shedding the disabling thoughts, isn't it? And the negative thoughts that are holding you back, freeing the shackles.
Yeah.
I think when I did it, it was very scary, but very, very exciting. And the last 5 to 7 years have been the graph just goes up and up. There's up and downs along the way, but the general theme is I never looked back. I at one point when I didn't have many clients and I was a bit concerned, I got a job interview to be a web developer at a company out in Evesham. Similar to you, I started to go out there and my car battery died. So then I borrowed my girlfriend's dad's car. I did actually go to the interview. I got there, I didn't really feel I didn't want the position. They did like me and they wanted me back for a second interview. That night I spent a lot of time considering, is this business, is this a hobby, or is this something I can really do? And that night I got 2 new clients contacted me. So 24 hours later I had those 2 new clients, and I just felt like from here, you've just got to keep listening to the universe and you just got to keep moving forward. Which has got me to the point here where 2020 I'd like to put more podcasts out. I'd like to speak to as many people as possible and actually get some information, get something that benefits actually people. I'm not asking for anything this time. It's not really, I'm not selling anything. I'm just fascinated, and I think that
I think that's true. I think if it comes from a place, from your heart, that you're generally trying to help other people, then it does come back tenfold. I think we, as business entrepreneurs, it is about giving. The more you give, the more you receive. Definitely. That's a great kind of message for Christmas, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It's not about. I think initially in my first forays into being in business, I think I was very much about wanting to sell and to get from people.
Yeah.
But that's not the way to do business these days.
It really isn't.
Listening.
People can see it a mile off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I see it a mile off when it comes towards me. So
yeah.
How does it feel when I'm going towards other people? And I don't do that anymore. It's much better to build up relationships, find how you can help other people. And if we all do that, then we all kind of business starts to circulate.
Definitely, that without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, Deb Macmillan, thank you very much for talking to me. It's been fascinating, and I'm very, very grateful. What's the best way for people to find you? I understand your website is debmacmillan.co.uk. Is it best to find you there, or Facebook, LinkedIn?
Yeah, they can go onto Facebook, they can go onto LinkedIn. If you go onto my Facebook page, which is Deb Macmillan Mindset Coach, or go onto Deb Macmillan on LinkedIn, you'll find me on there. My business page on Facebook has got a lot of content, a lot of videos.
Yeah. And
if anyone wants to have a free 30-minute clarity chat, then you can find me on there. Should I put out my mobile number?
Yes, please. Yeah, by all means.
Which is 07968 173314. You can text me. We fix up a time to chat, find out what's going on for you, what you want for 2020, and how we can help you shift forward, basically.
Thank you very much. All of these links will be in the description. So thank you very much for speaking to me today.
You're welcome.
I hope our listeners get a lot from it. And I wish you all the best. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for interviewing me. You take care.